Well, hello and welcome to News Hour on Voice of the People TV. I am Vivian Oguche.
And I am Chioma Innocent. Before we begin, kindly visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. First, the headlines. National honors, Alsa's cash gifts on Super Falcons.
And Tinubu sympathizes with victims of Adamawa flood and Niger boat accident.
Nigeria loses 17.9 trillion naira, 4,252 lives yearly to hepatitis.
Nurses begin nationwide strike Tuesday.
Utomi seeks scrapping of electricity band tariff system.
On the foreign scene, Medvedev says Trump's ultimatum could lead to war.
In business, federal government scraps capital gains levy, keeps 30% corporate tax.
While in entertainment news, Ira star releases performing in front of Messi. Now on the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has bestowed on the victorious Super Falcons and the entire technical crew the National Honor of Officer of the Order of the Niger. President Tinubu conferred on them the honors during a national reception for the team at the presidential villa in Abuja on Monday on their return from Morocco. Tinubu also allocated 3 bedroom apartments to each member of each player and a technical crew member at the renewed Hope Estate in Abuja. The president also directed a cash award in the Naira equivalent of $100,000 for each of the 24 players and $50,000 to each of the 11-man technical crew. The honors were in appreciation of their record-extending 10th WAFCON title after a 3-2 defeat of the hosts Morocco over the weekend.
I hereby conferred on the players the 11-man technical team with national honor of officer of Niger. Additionally, I hereby direct the allocation of 3-bedroom apartments to each of the players and technical crew in our renewed Hope Estate. In addition, there is a cash award of the Naira equivalent of $100,000 each to the 24 players and the equivalent of $50,000 to the 11-man technical team. On behalf of the grateful nation, I hereby
Earlier, President Tinubu, who told the players that he received a trophy on behalf of Happy Nigeria, thanked the players for their dedication, passion, and for reminding citizens of the strength of the Nigerian spirit.
Government and good people of Nigeria, I warmly welcome you to the State House. Today, you return home as champions of Africa. We could not be prouder And it cannot be more historic. You made us very, very proud. You make it a milestone in the history of sport. This is the 10th time Nigeria returned triumphant as the champion of the, you are the champion of the 2024 Women African Cup of Nations, WAFCON.
Chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum and Governor of Kwara State, Abdul Rahman Abdul Razak, also donated 10 million naira each of the 24 players and the technical team on behalf of the forum. And on behalf of the team and coaching crew, Super Falcons captain Rashidat Ajibade expressed gratitude to the President, the First Lady, the Sports Commission, Nigeria Football Federation, private organizations, and well-meaning Nigerians for their unwavering support throughout the tournament.
Good evening, everyone. Your Excellency, good evening, sir. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished members of the government, Honorable Minister of Sport, esteemed officials, and proud Nigerians. Today, I stand before you not just as a captain of Super Falcons, but as proud daughter of Nigeria, carrying the dreams, resilience, and spirit of our great nation. On behalf of my teammates, coaches, and technical staffs, I express our heartfelt gratitude for this warm reception and for the unwavering belief you have shown in us. To the Presidency, the Ministry of Sports, the Nigerian Football Federation, and every Nigerian who has cheered us on from home and abroad, thank you for being our strength, our inspiration, and our home. We could not have done this without every one of you. This win is for all of us. Your Excellency, our journey to this moment has been one of great determination and courage. We have faced the best teams in the world and had our own on the global stage. At the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, we stood toe-to-toe with giants, even defeating a formidable Australian in their home stadium. That was a moment that echoed the strength and tenacity of Nigerians across the globe. These achievements are not ours alone. They belong to every Nigerian who dares to believe.
In another development, President Bola Tinubu has expressed deep sorrow over the loss of lives and destruction caused by recent flooding in Yola, Adamawa State, and a boat mishap in Guni Village, Niger State. In a statement by his Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, the President extended his condolences to the affected families and commended emergency responders who have been at the forefront of rescue efforts. He described flooding as a global challenge, largely driven by climate change, but noted that local human activities often worsen its effects. Meanwhile, he praised the courage and commitment of emergency workers, local divers, volunteers, and community leaders working tirelessly in both states. According to him, their bravery and selflessness in the face of adversity offer hope and reflect the strength of shared humanity. President Tinubu further urged traditional rulers, religious leaders, and local authorities to intensify grassroots advocacy for safety practices, especially around waterways, while appealing to individuals and entrepreneurs to strictly observe all waterways safety protocols.
Now, Nigeria loses between 13.3 trillion naira and 17.9 trillion naira annually in direct and indirect costs on hepatitis treatment and prevention, the federal government has said. Disclosing this in Abuja during a news conference in commemoration of the World Hepatitis Day, the Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pate, also disclosed that 4,252 Nigerians die every year from liver cancer caused by untreated hepatitis. Pate, who was represented by the Director of Public Health at the ministry, disclosed that Nigeria has the third highest burden of hepatitis globally. According to him, Nigeria has over 20 million infected people with 18.2 million, which is over 8.1% of the Nigerian population affected by hepatitis B and 2.5 million living with hepatitis C. The minister regretted that in spite of the availability of vaccination and treatment, over 90% of those infected are undiagnosed and unknowingly transmit the virus to others, including children. According to the World Health Organization, hepatitis is an inflammation of the liver caused by a variety of infectious and non-infectious agents, which lead to severe liver damage and cancer, among others.
And with such unpleasant statistics from the federal government on hepatitis, presidential spokesperson Daniel Bwala has come under fire from political analysts over his claims that the President Bola Tinubu administration has expanded healthcare and improved food availability nationwide. Dismissing the claims, public affairs analyst Dr. Bright Onyovo-Kuko said on VOP TV's This Morning show that most Nigerians are still trapped in poverty, adding that the situation could soon spiral out of control. Also speaking on the program, Nonso Emecheta stated that misleading the public during tough economic times was unacceptable, while Emmanuel Irayenama questioned Bwala's credibility, citing his past criticism of President Tinubu.
Well, today is World Hepatitis Day 2025, a global day of action and awareness focused on a disease that quietly threatens millions across the world. With over 1.3 million lives lost each year, hepatitis remains one of the deadliest and most misunderstood health challenges of our time. This year's theme, hepatitis, let's break it down, calls for education, testing, and early treatment, I should say, to save lives. VOP TV's Praise Peters takes a closer look at what you need to know, what is being done, and why awareness matters more than ever. Here's a report.
The radar. It's World Hepatitis Day 2025, and the message this year is clear. Hepatitis, let's break it down. Hepatitis is not just one disease, but 5 different types: A, B, C, D, and E, all attacking one of the body's most vital organs, the liver. Each year, hepatitis claims more than 1.3 million lives worldwide, often without warning signs until it's far too late. Hepatitis A and E usually spreads through dirty water and contaminated food. B, C, and D often transmitted through infected blood, unprotected sex, or shared needles. The danger is real, but so is the hope, because here's the truth. Most hepatitis infections are entirely preventable and treatable if detected early. Countries like Nigeria are taking action, setting up free testing stations, launching mass awareness campaigns, and rolling out life-saving vaccines, especially for hepatitis B, one of the most common and deadly types.
Hepatitis is an infection of the liver. When we say hepa, it has to do with the liver. So hepatitis is an inflamed liver. And we know that the liver has a lot of functions in the human body. So when the liver is inflamed, those functions that the liver performs in the human body are kind of impaired. And when we look at hepatitis, it can be caused by either a virus or a bacteria. Our focus here has to do with hepatitis B and hepatitis C, which is caused by a virus and is usually transmitted through blood and blood contact. So when you get in contact with a blood that is infected with hepatitis B, you would what get it. And of course, maybe if there is a cut from a sharp object that is infected with hepatitis B, or blood transfusion, or maybe even sexual intercourse with somebody who is infected with hepatitis, so the person picks it up. But hepatitis C is blood-borne, but again, it usually affects those who are already having hepatitis B. Yes, hepatitis B can be prevented with a vaccine. So if you take the vaccine for hepatitis, it has a way of protecting you from the infection. And for those who are already infected, yes, there is treatment, but there is no cure at the moment. And of course, the treatment is a bit complex. So what we advise people to do to minimize and avoid contact with infected blood. If you have to be transfused, that blood needs to be screened. So there are a lot of things that we can actually do by protecting ourselves from blood and blood contact, because again, you don't know which blood is infected. Hepatitis B, the infectious rate is very, very high, because you need just a very little quantity of blood for you to be able to get infected. So what we need to do is we need to take precaution. We need to be careful if you are towards blood and blood contacts.
Hepatitis doesn't have to remain a mystery. It's time to break the stigma, break the silence, and break it all the way down with knowledge, testing, and prevention. So take a moment, ask questions, get tested, share the facts, because when it comes to hepatitis, what you don't know could hurt you. Praise Peters, reporting for Voice of the People TV.
Many thanks to Praise for that insightful report on World Hepatitis Day. Meanwhile, the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives has asked nurses nationwide to enforce a total withdrawal of service across all federal health institutions effective from 12 noon on Tuesday, July 29. The 7-day strike followed an emergency National Executive Council meeting on July 10 in Abuja, which had given the federal government a 15-day notice to improve the nurses' welfare, effect fair allowances, and better working conditions. The National President Murakeo Olajide Ruwan said the move was to enable proactive dialogue on critical issues facing nurses. He explained that the action became necessary as the 15-day ultimatum expired without a meaningful response from the federal government or the Federal Ministry of Health. Urging the federal government to engage positively, the union stressed that a well-supported nursing workforce is critical to quality healthcare outcomes and sustenance of public health across all federal medical institutions in Nigeria.
Well, away from that now, political economist Professor Patitomi has called for the revalidation and possible scrapping of the Band A power supply strategy, which he said rips off Nigerians. Utomi, who is also the convener of the Big Tent, spoke during the group's news conference on the state of the nation on Monday in Lagos. Band A electricity supply category, it targets a guaranteed minimum of a 20-hour power supply per day to customers within the band under the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission's service-based tariff structure. However, Utomi described the Band A category as exploitative and lacking in economic sense, as a university professor in Band A spends 75% of his salary on electricity tariff alone. According to him, if this tariff system is not speedily revalidated, it will further impoverish Nigerians, especially the working class.
Joining us virtually to analyze some of these stories, we have Honorable Lateef Olaomi. He's a public affairs analyst. Great to have you here today. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good evening. Nice being with you.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Let's talk about the humongous and well-deserved gifts that the Super Falcons actually got from the Nigerian president at the State House earlier today. What would you say about their performance? They have won WAFCON for the 10th time. We're very proud of them. I mean, as a woman, as a Nigerian, they have done one thing for us to be happy about right now. In 1980, with the victorious Green Eagles, and 1994 with the Super Eagles, it was similar promise houses and other mouth-watering offers as this. However, they were not fulfilled until decades later. Many of the would-be beneficiaries were already dead before the promises were fulfilled. Do you envisage a repeat of such scenario whereby this will be audio promises for the Super Falcons?
Well, let me say, like you just rightly said, that they did us proud. The ladies did us so proud, and I believe that the rewards they got. Actually, all of them, including those that went with them, were all in the right direction. So, I personally appreciate what they did, and getting all what they got to me is a good thing. And I want to say, without any iota of doubt, that as the president of the country promised, it will, unlike before, when we had empty kind of promises, this will be a very different one, and in a very no long distant time, all these things will be fulfilled.
All right, so let's talk about the coaching crew as well. You know, because this was a teamwork. Yeah, the coach Justin Madugu is the coach on an interim basis. Do you think, based on the performance so far and what just happened, you know, the trophy being brought back to Nigeria after he left the country for a while, do you think he will be made the coach for real now and not just on an interim basis?
To have made our team perform this very good, I think it should be confirmed, and move on with doing what we believe will continue to do for the country, making us a lot more proud in the future activities, sporting events.
All right.
Now, the Nigerian national women's team, that's Super Falcons, actually suffered some incidences of what some have described as racism during the match, the final match with Morocco, with some Moroccans in the crowd pointing lasers at their eyes, and you know how that can blind them for a little bit and make it difficult to focus on the ball. Would you say that Nigeria's international reputation contributes to these kind of incidences whenever our players, whether male or female, have to be on the pitch outside of Nigeria?
I don't want to attribute what happened to what you just mentioned as you mentioned something just right now. I don't want to attribute that to what the country is being alleged of. I don't want to look at it from that perspective, because we have had cases where Nigerian team were geared up in other places, where they were supported in other places. So maybe it could have been another reason why they did what they did over there. So I don't want to believe that it was because of the so-called reputation that being kind of ascribed to Nigeria at the moment.
All right, before we let you go on this particular matter, Morocco is saying that they're disputing this win by Nigeria because it fielded two players that are not of Nigerian descent. Ashley Pumphrey is one of them. The Oyibo you saw there as one of the team members. Her grandfather is of Nigerian descent and all of that. But Morocco is disputing that, as well as, the nationality of another player. Do you think Nigeria should be concerned?
I don't want to subscribe to what the Moroccans are saying. We have played the game. We've got the cup. So I don't think we need to bother ourselves that much about their stand.
All right, let's veer off from the world of sports right now. Of course, the Super Falcons have made Nigerians very happy, but unfortunately, we have to come back to not a very palatable reality. The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives are asking nurses nationwide to enforce a total withdrawal of their services across all federal health institutions. Effective from 12 noon on Tuesday, July 29, there will be a 7-day strike and industrial action, followed by an emergency National Executive Council meeting in Abuja. They've given the federal government a 15-day notice to improve nurses' welfare, effect fair allowances and better working conditions, or the nurses will sustain this action. It's quite unfortunate, but right now Nigerians cannot actually afford to have her nurses going on strike, especially in when it comes to federal healthcare. What should the government do to actually forestall this action? This is not the time to be falling sick. We know how expensive medicines are. We know how expensive it can be to treat oneself at home, even though we do not advocate for self-medication. But the nurses also need to be alive and well taken care of to take care of the people.
Yeah, as much as I'm worried concerning the planned activities, I'm worried, but I'm not as worried as well, because I believe that before the daybreak tomorrow, things will have been put in place. The federal government can not, I trust them, they can't fold their hand, allowing such to happen tomorrow. Henceforth, I don't think they will do that. I don't think they will want to allow such.
But in not allowing such, what would be the best course of action, giving in to the nurses' demands, or still more audio promises of, oh, we'll get back to you, we'll work on these, and then the nurses shelve that action, they go ahead and their welfare are not improved?
To have gotten to this level, going on strike from tomorrow, the federal government, I believe, they wouldn't want the nurses to shut down the activities, and so the government, I believe, will take the right decision before the expiration of the time given to them.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, what makes you so sure that this is going to be resolved before tomorrow? Is this like a vote of confidence for this administration? Is that what you're saying, that they are able to quickly resolve issues?
Yeah, there have been precedents to this kind of situation, and such were sorted out before it's generated to something that could affect, especially when it comes to the health matter now. I am very sure the federal government of Nigeria will not want anything that will affect the health of Nigerians, the citizens.
All right, then let's quickly talk about Professor Pat Utami, the political economist, saying there should be a revalidation and a possible scrapping of the Band A power supply strategy, which he says is a rip-off of Nigerians. Utami, Pat Utami is also the convener of the Big Tent. He spoke during the group's news conference on the state of the nation on Monday in Lagos. He says Band A electricity supply category targets a guaranteed minimum of 20-hour power supply per day to customers within the band under the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission service-based tariff structure. He's not the first person who's coming out to say Band A, Band B, Band C, that this is a scam and is a rip-off for Nigerians. In fact, right now, there are reports that the whole of Lagos and some parts of Ogun State will lose power from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, 9 hours every day, during working hours for 25 days, because they want to work on some part of the electricity generating system. And people are still complaining. In fact, we're talking to some of the people who watch us today, and in one area in Lagos, they've not had light for 7 months. But they say that these people keep coming to collect money for light. Some people don't even have prepaid meters yet. And we're still doing this Band A, Band B, Band C. The people who are in Band A don't even have this 20 hours of electricity. So do you agree with Professor Pat Utami?
To an extent, let's be sincere with ourselves in this. We got to be very, very sincere with ourselves. This class of power supply, I mean Band A, Band B, or what have you see that in those places where they operate the Band A class, they are to an extent enjoying power supply. For Pat told me to have said what he said, it means power supply to an extent in his plate is stable, because if not stable, it wouldn't consume as much as he had pointed out. And let's try to look at Nigeria's situation from this perspective, because I do tell people that when we only look at, yes, it's expected that the government of the day should provide the necessary things that, I mean, like power supply, for example, that Nigerians need. Yeah, but there have been issues in the past, and to meet up with what Nigerians are expecting of in terms of power supply might be a little difficult. I want to praise the government of the day for, I mean, doing everything possible in their own way to ensure that at least power distribution, power supply, generation, power distribution has, improved. In a way, except we don't want to be sincere with ourselves. Power generation has improved, power distribution has improved, and that is why probably the place where Prof is staying or is living, or the office he works, consumes as much, because I mean it means that stability of power to an extent in that area. For some areas that do not have lights, it could be due to one reason or the other. You know, most of these distribution companies are probably not living up to the expectation of Nigerians themselves. They are not doing things properly. And you will recall when Senator Oshiomhole raised his concerns concerning what the distribution companies were doing. What I think the federal government should do is to now emphasize on the distribution companies and doing the needful, doing the right thing, getting this power well distributed to Nigerians, irrespective of which band they belong or not. So that is my own take on that.
Thank you so much.
So before we wrap this up, though, it seems like you are enjoying a power supply and all of that based on what you said, right? Also, it will be remiss of us not to point out that this ban thing, Nigeria does not have a monopoly on it. It also is applicable in the West. But this is what I'm going to say, though. Do you not think that the federal government should subsidize electricity? I mean, it's removed fuel subsidies, practically removed subsidy from everything, and then there is multiple taxation and all. Wouldn't it be proper for it to subsidize electricity?
The federal government, we all know what happened to the oil sector. Now, if they removed subsidy on oil, on petrol, and probably there is need to make things easier for Nigeria as regards power supply, they might look into it. I don't have enough data on enough knowledge about what it takes the federal government of Nigeria to generate electricity. But one thing that is clear to me is that the government has, to an extent, liberalized this sector. Individuals are coming out with power generation companies. So I do think that by the time they are through with most of these power generation companies are through what they are. Whatever they are doing, and begin to supply Nigerians, distribute power to Nigerians, things will fall in place. Things will be improved. That's what I think. I don't really subscribe to the fact that they should probably subsidize the power supply, because just like they did on the petroleum, and they gave us reasons why it had to go that way. So it means if power is subsidized, some Nigerians too will still be taking advantage of that, undue advantage. And probably the powerful ones, probably those that could pay for the service. So, and this works against the other citizens who will not even use as much as those people use the power supply.
Thank you so much. We have been speaking with Honorable Lateef Olawumi. He's a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for joining us, Honorable. It's been quite an insightful conversation. We do appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day. You're still watching the news on Voice of the People television. When we return from the break, we'll bring you more stories as the United Nations has declared July 7 World Amotekun Day. Stay with us for these and more stories after the break. Welcome back. President Bola Tinubu has expressed deep sorrow over the loss of lives and destruction caused by recent flooding in Yola, Adamawa State, and a boat mishap in Guni Village, Niger State. In a statement released by Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, the president extended his condolences to the affected families and commended emergency responders who have been at the forefront of rescue efforts. The president described flooding as a global challenge, largely driven by climate change, but noted that local human activities often worsen its effects. He praised the courage and commitment of emergency workers, local divers, volunteers, and community leaders working tirelessly in both states. According to him, their bravery and selflessness in the face of adversity offer hope and reflect the strength of shared humanity. President Tinubu urged traditional rulers, religious leaders, and local authorities to intensify grassroots advocacy for safety practices, especially around waterways. He also appealed to individuals and entrepreneurs who rely on water transport for businesses to strictly observe all safety protocols.
Well, still on safety and security matters, the United Nations has designated July 7 as World Amotekun Day in recognition of the efforts of the Western Nigeria Security Network, also known as the Amotekun Corps, in Ondo State. According to the UN, the declaration acknowledges Amotekun's outstanding role in combating crime across Nigeria's southwest region. A statement by the state commander of Amotekun, Adetunji Adeleye, noted. The announcement was made at the Amotekun headquarters in Akure by the Director of Information and Communications at the International Association of World Peace Advocates, Ambassador Makwili Ngbara. Ambassador Ngbara said the affiliation certificate was issued under the auspices of the United Nations Economic and Social Council consultative status in collaboration with the International Association of World Peace Advocates.
Residents of Edo State came out in large numbers on Saturday, July 26, to participate in a statewide environmental sanitation exercise. The exercise saw the active involvement of waste management officials, security agencies, and volunteers as the government renewed commitment to improving environmental cleanliness and public health. VPTV correspondent Rhoda Johnny has the details.
On Saturday, July 26, 2025, Edo State carried out a massive environmental sanitation across its 18 local government areas, drawing strong participation from residents. The operation was closely monitored by officials of Edo State Waste Management, the Edo Task Force, Police, Civil Defense Corps, and Environmental Protection volunteers. Managing Director of the Waste Management Board, Lucky Enigbeniji, announced the activation of 19 mobile courts to enforce compliance, with 2 courts in Orodo and 1 in each of the other local governments.
Today is Environmental Sanitation Day, which is every last Saturday of the month. His Excellency Senator Omodokpewolu wants Edo State to be the cleanest among 36 states and FCT. He wants Edo State to be number 1. He wants a litter-free Edo. In quest to have that, he decided to reinstall Environmental Sanitation Day, which is exactly what we are doing today. As you can see, we'll be able to record about 95% success. Yes. That shows that Edo State is on the right track. Cover 3 local governments, Bubaka, Eredo, some part of Ovia. Yes. But next environmental probably will be in the Edo Central. And the next one will be in Edo North. Yes. This is our advanced team We have other representatives across the 18 local government. As I speak to you, what is happening here is also happening across the 18 local government. Today, by the grace of God, we've been able to activate 19 mobile courts, one per local government and the one at the state level. In total, making 19. So,
environmental volunteer Comrade Agwa Omobode praised the high compliance level, especially in 4 local councils, noting that defaulters were tried on the spot and sentenced to community service.
The compliance level, from what we saw going around 4 local governments, is good. But we think that a lot of persons, like you see in the courts now, deliberately violated the orders, and that's why they are here. I must appreciate the Edo State Waste Management Board and all those that are in the team. As a volunteer, I'm not sure we have anybody here that was arrested illegally or out of sentiment. These people themselves know. From their looks, you will know that they know that they committed the offenses where they were arrested.
Enigbeneji also revealed that more waste disposal trucks will be deployed soon to strengthen refuse management across the states. In Benin, Rhoda Johnny, UOP TV News.
Rhoda, thank you. Well, we'll take another break before more stories. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. And the foreign scene now, Chancellor Friedrich Merz says Germany will immediately launch an airlift to deliver humanitarian aid into Gaza as it considers stepping up pressure on Israel over the catastrophic situation in the enclave. As a death toll from almost 2 years of war in Gaza, near 60,000, a growing number of people are dying from starvation and malnutrition, according to Gaza health authorities. This comes as images of starving children shock the world and fuel international criticism of Israel over sharply worsening conditions. Germany, alongside the United States, has long remained one of Israel's staunchest allies and largest arms suppliers. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Monday that many people were starving in the enclave, contradicting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's denial that there was no starvation there. Merz told a news conference in Berlin that while the German Security Cabinet welcomed Israel's announcement of a halt in military operations for 10 hours a day in parts of Gaza as an important first step, it agreed that more must follow.
In another development, the former president of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, has warned that United States President Donald Trump's 10 to 12 days ultimatum on Russia to end the attack on Ukraine could lead to a war involving the United States. Medvedev, in a post on X on Monday, stated that Trump was playing the ultimatum game with Russia and that such an approach could lead to war. According to him, each new ultimatum is a threat and a step towards a war, not between Russia and Ukraine, but with Trump's own country. His comment followed Trump's statement in Scotland on Monday that he was disappointed in Russian President Vladimir Putin's failure to end the war in Ukraine. Consequently, he said he was reducing a deadline to agree a peace settlement from 50 days to 10 or 12. According to Trump, who spoke to newsmen during a meeting with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, there is no reason in waiting as no progress is being made.
Business news is next. So the federal government, with the newly enacted Nigerian Tax Act, has consolidated the long-standing 10% capital gains tax with corporate income tax regime and abolished the former. It also retained the corporate income tax at 30% for medium and large companies under the new act, which will take effect from January 2026. The CIT exempts from taxation small businesses with an annual turnover of 50 million naira or less, and total fixed assets not exceeding 250 million naira, maintaining a 0% rate for such entities. According to the new law, tax for small companies is at 0% and 30% for any other company. However, professional services firms are excluded from the small business classification regardless of turnover or asset size. The Act further imposes a 15% minimum effective tax rate for companies falling below its threshold. It further provides that any business with an effective tax rate below 15% must recompute and pay an additional tax to reach the benchmark.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has sealed an illegal lithium mining operation at Libata in Ngaski local government area of Kebbi State. Acting on a federal high court order on the issue, the NSCDC accused the operators of violating mining laws and defrauding the federal government of over 1.43 trillion naira. The Corps said the operation was linked to 3 Crown Mines Limited, a firm under investigation for large-scale mineral theft and regulatory breaches. It alleged that in collaboration with some unnamed foreign nationals, the company illegally extracted lithium valued at 1.43 trillion naira over a 2-year period. According to regulators, the firm far exceeded the scope of its small-scale mining license and exploration license by encroaching on another title holder's cadastral unit. The further stated that the action contravened Section 46, subsection 2 of the 2007 Minerals and Mining Act and Section 48 of the Nigerian Mining Regulations 2011.
Well, it's time now for entertainment news.
Welcome to the entertainment segment. Afrobeat singer Arya Starr released the moment as she performed during British band Coldplay Music of the Surface tour at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, USA. The Nigerian star was brought out as a surprise guest midway through the concert, which had football legend Lionel Messi and his wife Antonella in attendance. The couple was projected on the big screen during the show, sparkling wild cheers and screams from the crowd. Arya performed a collaborative track with Coldplay, Good Feelings, as well as a new single, Hot Body, alongside the band's lead singer, Chris Martin. After the show, she took to social media to share her excitement about performing in front of Mercy. Moving on in entertainment, Nigerian singer Tiwa Savage has announced a split from manager Kemi Akunyili, popularly known as Mecca. The singer made the announcement via a series of Instagram story posts where she also introduced a new manager, Vanessa Amadi. Tiwa warned the public against conducting business with Mecca on her behalf, expressing frustration over ongoing confusion surrounding her bookings. He emphasized that all official engagement should now go through Vanessa Amadi and stated she would not be responsible for any financial loss resulting from dealing with her former manager. Despite issuing several warnings, Tiwa noted that some promoters still contact Mecca, which could lead to further complications. Elsewhere in entertainment, Destiny Child have reunited for the first time in 7 years, and it all happened during the grand finale of Beyonce Cowboy Carter tour in Las Vegas. The iconic trio fans with a medley of their biggest hits, including Lose My Breath and Booty Calls. Kelly Rowland and Mitchell Williams also joined Beyonce for a powerful performance of a 2022 track. Although Destiny's Child officially parted ways in 2006, the group has reunited on special occasions, most notably at Beyonce's Super Bowl halftime show in 2013 and our Coachella Headlines performance in 2018. And that's all on the entertainment segment. I am Oyindamola Olukutan. Thanks for staying with us.
That's it on the news hour. Before we go, a quick look at the headlines. National honors, houses and cash gifts on Super Falcons.
And Tinubu sympathizes with victims of Adamawa flood and Niger boat accident.
Nigeria loses 17.9 trillion naira, 4,252 lives yearly to hepatitis.
NASA's begin nationwide strike Tuesday.
Utomi seeks scrapping of electricity banned tariff system.
On the foreign scene, Medvedev says Trump's ultimatum could lead to war.
In business, federal government scraps capital gains levy, keeps 30% corporate tax.
In entertainment news, Ira star releases performing in front of Messi. Well, do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV, and on other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. I am Vivian Oguche.
And I am Chioma Innocent. Thank you for watching.